looking forward to having a chat about the CHELS.
Always, mate. It's what I live
Good
for.
stuff. It's good stuff. It's been another amazingly weird week in the world of Chelsea. I don't know what it's like supporting our club, but I don't know if other clubs have so much drama.
Certainly not on Twitter.
Oh, my word. I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to start doing this, to be honest, because I can't speak so quickly on Twitter. I can't keep on doing it. It's like sending me over the edge. You know what I mean? I just
breathe. Remember to breathe.
Exactly. Yeah, I just can't face it anymore, to be honest. But it was an amazing win, wasn't it, Tottenham?
Brilliant game. Loved it. It was a bit of a throwback for me. It reminded the atmosphere where I was sat. It reminded me of 10, 15, 20 years ago. Like it meant something.
Yeah.
And we beat Tottenham, so it basically reminded me of my whole life.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Well, the atmosphere where I sat there isn't one. So
I thought it was all right.
It was good. We were good in the West Lower. We always sing on command. We got one song, Carefree, and we deliver it with like perfect precision. And we did a good job, I thought.
You did a very good job.
But actually, we were a lot louder than we have been, and we were up a couple of times starting our own songs, which was impressive.
Mate, I noticed. I definitely noticed that there was a smattering of Tottenham get battered, and it started from Gate 7 in the West Lower.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Tottenham get battered. Yeah, it was quite nice, and that reverberated through my whole week. I think I was still singing that 3 days later. That.
Yeah,
it's like, you just can't get it out of your head, can you?
And I thought they're fans, and I'm not one to dig out away fans, but from where I sit at the other end, you often can't hear them. So we're poor judges of how good or not good or loud or not loud they were. I thought I couldn't hear them.
No, they were really quiet, which was really weird.
It's unlike Tottenham, right?
Yeah, well, and also, how gutted were they? They got done for sort of kind of homophobic comments and no one could hear them saying them. So like it's awful to do it, first of all, and actually no one heard you singing them. So it was just a waste of your time. It was just terrible, really. I just don't understand what's going on with their fans, really. It was a really strange one for me because the way they had the whole shed, which I don't mind. I know loads of people have said that the away fans shouldn't have the shed, but I never used to like them in the East Lower. Mourinho changed that. That was a nightmare. They were too low, too pitch side. They were too much involved in the game for me.
I liked them there. We had our tickets where we sat was always gate 14 in the Matthew Harding. So left side as you're in the Matthew Harding 18-yard box, and we were diagonally in line from every away team. But I understand why they moved them because it did create a bit of back and forward. Me personally, I'd stick them as high up as you could now.
Yeah, someone said that, and the only problem is the old East Uppers, an old relic, and the chances of segregation and keeping people from. I mean, Jesus Christ, the staircase are going to fall off that place soon, isn't it? It's so old. It's older than it's older than parts of America. That place. So there's no way you're ever going to get people up there. But I like them in the heavens. They stick you in the heavens at Newcastle, don't they? So.
Great away day,
and that's a perfect place to go. And you get an all right view up there, to be honest. So
good view for those that could make the stairs. Good for you.
Yeah, no, the stairs. Long way up. Oh my God, we might need to do a show where we review the smallest concourses we've been to. I'll tell you, Watford's up there.
Watford's up there. QPR's up there.
Yeah, Watford is. But the Watford, they offer rubber hot dogs. That's the only thing they sell. You can only buy rubber hot dogs, which are unedible, and they don't sell any alcohol, which is mental.
It's booze free.
It's just like so depressing. The only good thing is Chelsea normally take over all the pubs in the high street until 3 minutes before kickoff, and there's a must.
Watford was a good away. Watford is a good.
Yeah, it was good this season. We played well as well. Well, we didn't play well, did we? We were awful, and we got a result. That was when he was rolling back. Talking about Sol, he was decent in the week.
Yeah, he's a great signing. It was a great January signing, that bloke.
Yeah.
He was quality. I thought for me, he was the most composed player on the pitch.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't know. Is it too little, too late for him to get a contract? It has to be. Don't know.
I don't know. I wouldn't rule it up. I don't sit and watch. Here we are on YouTube, allegedly. I don't sit and watch YouTube clips because you can make a League Two player look world class if you just highlight reels of 15 crosses, passes, or goals. So I've not seen Sal very much from Madrid. I've not sat and watched him play for Atletico. I think I'm basing this on what I saw on Wednesday. If he carries on playing like that, he's a welcome addition. If he
Well, I
carries
mean,
on
if he
playing
plays
like
like
he
that,
did,
he's gonna run it close to getting in the side, isn't he? Let's face it,
if
because he was
he
decent.
played like he did on his debut, was it Villa?
Oh wow!
Dreadful. And I'm not one to. I'm yet to boo a player, like for Chelsea, and I never would. But that was as close as I've come to what on earth have we done here?
Well, do you know what happened in the first 5 minutes there? He got absolutely banged, old-fashioned style by McGinn.
John
And it
McGinn.
was almost like welcome to the league. And he got up straight away and he went over to the ref and went, have you, I think it's one of those. Isn't it? I don't fancy this because he's just tackled me.
And
And
you know that John McGinn would have been chatting about that. Well, he got dragged off at halftime, didn't he? John McGinn's
I
a
don't
type.
know, but
They would
he
have all
absolutely
reacted to that.
clattered him.
Villa. They got
He
on his
clattered him.
touch.
Yeah,
But no,
well,
getting back to positive vibes only. I thought he was fantastic the other night.
yeah, no, it's
Tottenham.
the best performance. To be fair, his and the other thing as well, he put it about. Actually, he looked a lot stronger. That's the thing I was alluding to, like his tackling, his ball winning, his distribution. He did everything right. He mopped up nicely. He just looked composed on the ball, didn't he? Let's face it. He just looked a quality footballer.
And there
And
was twice he put Harry Kane on his backside, which helps.
yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, what
Really
is
helps.
the demise of Harry Kane? He was playing centre midfield in the end, wasn't he? Just coming so deep.
I was surprised. Harry Kane in that form is exactly. It's kind of reminiscent to Torres post Torres,
Wow.
his first 2-3 explosive seasons at Liverpool. And the more I watched him in the second half, the more I thought he's got transferred to Chelsea written all over him in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, he'll come in. He'll come in
100
a
million
100-meter
quid.
race with Shevchenko and Torres with
Yeah,
16 seconds. It'll be
that's
like,
it.
well done. That was a good time there, Torres. You got 16.4, which is decent. That's
Well done.
ahead of Shevchenko and behind Torres. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, he did look leggy, and strangely, this cardinal sin of a centre forward when they're not scoring goals, the deeper they come to try and get involved in play. And he fancied himself as a bit of a player in there, and he has worked. But him and Son, when they work together, Son, they work in unison. They're close together, higher up the pitch, and it was just they looked rubbish. They won't be that bad second leg though, surely.
Yeah, they will. They're Tottenham. It's going to be a party. We're going to have a party.
Well, talking about sort of like party people and characters and wearing the badge and all the positives. How was our man, Mr. Italian interviews, Mr. Record signing, Mr. He's going to win us the league for you the other night, Lukaku? Let's move on. Let's talk.
I thought his performance was a little bit sorry.
Yeah, that was good.
Highlight of the game for me was his little lambasting run down the right-hand side where he ran out of room, slipped over, fell on his backside. And I think 35,000 of us were like, oh, for God's sake.
I know. I do actually remember that.
5,000 of them loved it.
Yeah, I think he might have also added to the feature by slapping the grass as a little bit of a little like sort of final finale to the move. But it was a little bit of that one where it was a little bit of that sort of he drilled it, he kicked it like 30 yards ahead of him, thinking he would just absolutely do him Mbappe style.
There was one point where him and Tanganga were side by side running, and I just thought this reminds me of like old school WWF, two really fat tag team.
Yeah, exactly.
In the Royal Rumble.
Well, it did like it flattered to the sea. To be fair, he had no legs in behind. And actually, to be honest with you, quite a few times, and of course it won't always be like that, but a few times he tried to square up people and go past them, and it just wasn't happening for him. He just wasn't having a good day at the office, was he?
No, but I'll tell you what,
he is important.
I'll make this little prediction now. He will score at Tottenham and he will score at City. There you go. In both games. I can see it. He'll score at Tottenham. I can see it. And it'll be down our end.
Right, okay.
Bold prediction. You watch.
Do we get a result at City, do we?
Yeah, we'll beat them.
We'll save that for next week.
We'll beat them. Yeah, we'll beat them.
We'll beat City.
We'll beat City at City 2-1.
Wow.
And we're ahead of them in that sense. And we're ahead of them in terms of Champions League. So there you go.
Yeah, we are comfortably ahead of them. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, that's the holy grail for them, isn't it? And look, at the end of I don't think Pep won anything in his first year, did he?
He finished third. I remember. I
Yeah.
can't remember what kind of level of points he got,
So,
but no, he came
it's
third
very
in his
hard.
first year.
I don't think Klopp won. He didn't win anything either, did he?
Klopp's only won 2 trophies. If you discount the Super Cup, and I know it is a trophy, and the World Cup, and I know that's a big trophy. Klopp's won 2 trophies in 7 seasons.
Yeah, 2 big ones though, weren't they?
Yeah, it's 2 big. Yeah, to stop it, you're sounding like a Scouser here. He's won the same amount of Premier Leagues as our Claudio. There you go. Up the Ranieri.
Oh, I love the Ranieri. I used to love. I tell you, he used to drive me mental, Ranieri, because he was impossible. If you were back in the day, there wasn't fantasy football like there is now. But if you would never know what Chelsea played, he was the ultimate Tinkerman, wasn't he? My word.
Oh.
Crazy. He in some of his in-game changes as well were mental. I've never been so confused in the terrace in my whole life.
Monaco, what was he doing?
Wow. I mean, that's a Champions League we should have won.
In a Champions League semi-final with Porto to play Monaco in a semi. All right, Jose Mourinho's Porto, but at that point you think we're never going to get a better chance. And I remember at half-time he's bringing on Varane, Hasselbank, and I swear there was a moment in the second half where Hasselbank was a fullback. I'm thinking, what?
we were. I think they had 10 men.
Oh,
they got 10 men. They had 10 men. We were 1-0 up. It went 1-1. Then they got someone. They had someone off at 40 minutes, 30 minutes. They had to play a second half of the 10. They won. They
destroyed. It wasn't a close 3-1 either. It was an absolute
crazy. Oh yeah, it was mental. He was a crazy manager. I mean, I actually, to be fair, I wasn't at the time aware of what's going to come with Mourinho, but there was a lot of the Stamford Bridge faithful. They were a bit gutted when he went in a way because he had that good last season. We finished second, didn't we?
Fantastic. I think he endeared himself. He endeared himself to everybody, despite the criticism and the press labeling him whatever it was, Tinkerman. He endeared himself to everybody, not just Chelsea, but the nation. When he broke down at Highbury in tears, and that I will never forget. That was. I don't want to get too much into it, but my mum, bless her, wasn't too well at the time. She didn't last much longer than that game. And I sat and watched that with my mum, and both of us were in tears. He was in tears. What an amazing football match that was.
Well, that's
unbeatables.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, that was a crazy time to watch Chelsea, and that's when that was throwing lots of money at it. Like in terms of it was embarrassing, wasn't it? Every single day was an exciting day. You used to get the paper and you go, "We're going to buy Joe Cole," and who's Jeremy? And it was like one of those.
What a player Jeremy
was! He used to just score free kicks randomly.
What a player!
He got about 4 free kicks for Middlesbrough, and he got a move, didn't he?
Yeah, it was brilliant. I remember. What year? So
Ron was quite a strange one, wasn't it? Because I remember that first day in the first Abramovich era, we were away at Liverpool, Jimmy's school. We won 2-1 that day.
Yeah.
We had that cool. Do you remember that cool ass away kit we had with the stripe down? I mean, that was so.
Oh mate, Fly Emirates.
Wow,
yes.
I used to own that.
I was gutted that that was a year where Dad and I tried to get tickets for Anfield. We've been to Anfield a lot. Didn't get a ticket. I remember watching it on Sky. And I remember a geezer with loads of, I think, £20 notes. I don't know if you remember Super Sunday on Sky, and it came up and spread them around in the crowd, as in like loads of money. Look at us. And that image of that fella was used like all season long. Chelsea, loads of money.
Yeah. That was the only thing.
Late winner at Anfield. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Can I just say to the people who are going to watch this was the Chelsea week. It's now turned into the Chelsea 20-year overview. So we're going to do this one thing, and we're just going to go through every bit of Chelsea, reminiscing of every moment. My God, that was a crazy time.
I think we should.
I absolutely loved that. I loved that kit. I absolutely loved Jimmy, that goal. He scored that goal to make it 2-1. He stuck it in the corner. Typical Jimmy it was. No
Great
back
finish.
lift. Great finish, straight in the corner. He absolutely lost it. He started giving it the big one on a shirt, and a Roman was away. Roman was there as well, and he was loving it as well. And it was right down by the Chelsea end as well, and everyone was going completely mental. And then the rest is history. But the side now, it's so funny when you hear people on Twitter now. It just blows your mind when we got people saying, Roman should be doing this and Roman should be paying this. And it's all right. Rice is only 100 million, and he's only, well, it's not your money though, is it?
I know. He's only 100 million.
It's all right. Just go. I mean, if Chelsea don't buy a left back who's 80 million this summer, then this January, then Roman's not interested. At the end of the day, Roman's spent his money. He's done so much for this football club. He still continues to do so much. That infrastructure around Cobham, that is a fantastic breeding ground for some of the greatest talents. Also, we're really astute at pinching everyone's good players as well. We've been excellent at coming in when they're 14 and 15 and going, "Oh, hello, have you met the guy from Chelsea? He wants to talk to your parents, actually. Oh, does he? All right, yeah, come over here. And come and sign for us. And yes, we know you're from Portsmouth, Mount, but just come over here." And we're quite good at that. And that's made a massive difference. And so I think we should be trying to integrate youth. I think it's the right thing to do. The only thing I think, and I think it's about people who we buy as well, and it's more evident in Twitter. I've never heard so many fans wanting people to work when they don't work, or they've seen 70 games and they think the next 70 games are going to be different. At the end of the day, if you don't make it at elite level Chelsea, that is no disgrace. You still work in a football world at 95% of every club would still take you if you don't work at elite level Chelsea and you're not 40 years old. So if you're 25 and you fall short, that is no disgrace. That's the problem. Sometimes we only operate there's only 10 clubs that operate, probably 5-10 clubs that operate at this level. So if you can't make it here, you could go to one of them and it could work because you fit a formation. But otherwise, you're still a great, great player. Villa have picked up Coutinho today at 29. That's worth a gamble for Villa, isn't it? Let's face it. Who wouldn't think that wasn't?
100%. Let's move on to tomorrow.
The FA Cup, cannot wait. Wow. I'm gutted I'm not going in a way. I always enjoy going to the third round of the FA Cup. We should be really there. It's meant to be really bad weather, though. Apologies to anyone who's going.
Really bad weather.
And there's no district line.
And some of us are working.
Oh, yeah. I'm feeling a little bit smug about the old district line. Sorry for anyone who's having to find other means of getting there. Look, the FA Cup, I mean, this is the thing. I mean, some of the newer fans on Twitter or the newer fans to Chelsea would probably see it in a pecking order as kind of way below in the Champions League, finishing in the top 4. And I would to a certain extent. Well, I would. But the FA Cup is, I mean, what's your views on how special that tournament and that competition is to us?
Oh, for me, it's up there. It's up, if Chelsea win the FA Cup,
it just sounds good, doesn't it?
If Chelsea, I mean, listen, I go back to when I was at school. I grew up where there were far more Tottenham than Chelsea. Just the area that I grew up in, and I thank my dad for taking me Chelsea when I was young. But Tottenham had won the FA Cup 8 times, and my God, that was rammed down my throat when I was growing up. Chelsea had won the FA Cup once, 1970. I did not expect for us to ever equal them. We've won it 8 times. The FA Cup is special. Every single one of them, and I've been there on 5 or 6. Every single one of them, is beautiful. 97 was unbelievable. Yeah, unbelievable. Best day.
I mean, they're always.
I mean, it was the best day of my life. That's how special the FA Cup is.
Well, I think for me, it's one of those competitions, like anything actually, in terms of trophy, but FA Cup especially, Wembley, the day. It's normally, if you're lucky, in the sunshine, and quite honestly, it feels like every time you win it, it's like the first time you win it, and every time we've lost one, it feels absolutely horrific. And I said that earlier on my video, that actually losing to Arsenal and losing when I've seen them, like I've been to 2 where we lost to Arsenal, and it's a brutal day at the office. So I mean, it's so special. It's massive for Chelsea. I think it's really important for TT as well. I think if he could just finish in that top 4, and even do a double of the cups and pick up both of them, even if it was, and a great run in the Champions League, which we're still in. That's a great season for Chelsea, isn't it?
Unbelievable. And the crowd would be up for it. There's, I know personally, there's lots of friends of mine taking their children for their first ever game. And as much as people have always got something to say about who should or shouldn't go, whatever. I remember my first game, and there's going to be probably hundreds of kids tomorrow experience that. And then don't forget the opposition.
Day one of their Chelsea journey. What a life to come into now.
What a day for the opposition tomorrow at Chesterfield.
I mean, well, it beats being a kid in the 90s, day one. It was a tougher arse there, and you're behind a fence with a cart. You've got 3 Cortinas in front of you, and you're losing at home to Barnsley or something. So, it's a better day. I mean, what do we think then about the FA Cup in terms of personnel? Are you hoping to see a few debutants and a few first-timers out there? What do you think?
I'd like to see, do you know what? I'd like to see a bit of Harvey Vale, and I think he will get game time. I like the look of what's his name? Simon Xavier Simons.
Yeah.
I like the look of him in the first half at Brentford. Be interesting to see if it'd be interesting to see if we go 4 at the back again, 3 at the back. That took me by surprise the other night, and I thought we did it very well. But yeah, I think Timo's got to play. He needs game time. And he looked electric when he came on the other night.
That's the best. He's looked a lot better actually in recent games. When he played before injury, he got those when we were in the Champions League, I believe. He was so good on that night. He was involved in everything, and he looked bright the other day. Yeah,
he looked bright. I think Timo will play some part. I hope he does.
Well, there's going to have to. The problem is with Chelsea, there's no way it's ever going to be 11 youngsters. There's always going to be good players out there. So in the end of the day, Chesterfield are no mugs, are they? Top of their league. They've got a good run of field. They're going to be a league side again, and they're going to run for every single ball. They'll have 6,000 screaming
6,000 fans. So
they'll be going mad. So it's a tough day. If we approach it and take liberties, then we're in for a tough day. And actually, Chelsea Football Club have had tough days in early rounds before. I remember. Oh my God, let's not talk. I mean, we've been turned over by a couple of sides, haven't we? Where we've tried to play personnel who weren't up for it and weren't running for the badge, and then we've ended up being done. I think maybe Bradford, and things like that. And so we got to be a bit careful. I mean, the FA Cup is just so magical, though, isn't it? It's just such a brilliant thing. I just always remember it back in the day. It was an all-day event, lunchtime. It was always on the BBC. They used to show Wembley Way and both sets of fans.
You got to see the players having their breakfast,
leaving
the hotel, getting on the coach, getting off the coach. It was unbelievable. Wembley Way was like 80,000.
It's amazing, Wembley Way, though. It was always. I only realised this the other day when I was thinking about it. It was filmed from miles away because actually the real Wembley Way is like, I'm going to kill you, mate. No, I'll tell you. What? There's all that stuff going on, isn't it? So there's absolutely because the aero shot and everything. Look at the fans making their way on a special day. Look at them in unison, in harmony. It's actually
smashing celery at people.
But I mean, back in the day, I remember. I mean, the first one I really remember was possibly. Possibly Coventry, Tottenham, but I was a very young lad. Yeah, I was really young. I remember that being a barnstormer, and then it went into the headers. There were a couple of them, 3-2, and then there was Palace. I think I remember Palace in '90. I think it might have been Palace United when they drew, didn't they? Ian Wright came on, score those
Yes.
goals, and then it was the Gaza time, wasn't it, and things, and
Yeah.
it was just an amazing day. Like, it was an all-day event for me in terms of watching it. It was exciting. You used to get the captains introduce their players, didn't they? Playing left back,
Yeah.
left back. It's
Steve
just so,
Clark. Love
and
love the Steve Clark.
it was, and the other thing as well, like, it has to be Saturday at 3 o'clock. That, I'm sorry, I know
Oh, I
TV.
hate it. I hate the fact they've moved the time. 5:15. What kind of time is that?
Oh, it should be on it should be on normal TV still. I know it shouldn't be, it can't
It
be, but
should
you get,
start the coverage should start at 5:15
yeah, yeah. They should
AM,
be.
but the game 3 PM. Keep it
Oh,
as it is. It was beautiful.
and the other thing about it as well, I don't know why, but I mean, because obviously the old Wembley was horrific when it was packed. I mean, to be fair, it wasn't the nicest on the eye. But the thing I did like is the tunnel. When they just walked, there was that long ass walk as they came out, wasn't it? And it
It's
was
like an
just,
accordion, it stretched.
yeah, and it was amazing. Like, the atmosphere in '97, it was just like it was so loud in there. It feels so much louder
Oh my
than the new
God.
Wembley. It was real on top. Like, the Chelsea fans that day, it was just so loud. And yeah, no,
94. 94 was
oh,
special, wasn't it?
well,
I know
we
you
can't,
said about the sunshine. It's normally well, it certainly weren't that day, was it? It was
no, it was absolutely pouring down. But mind you, we can't. I
Moscow.
mean,
It's Moscow. We had 20, 24.
well, you just like mentioned
14
two
years.
of the worst days of my. I can't believe you've just gone from '94 to Moscow as a natural.
Well,
It's
just
basically both days with torrential rain.
torrential rain didn't stop for 24 hours on both occasions. Both occasions heartbroken by United. And
Do you
look at
know what,
them
though?
now.
I don't think when I was in Moscow, right, I was standing next to this geezer. Obviously, I don't know. I was with who I was with, and John was going to take the penalty. I'm not going to talk about this too much because it's
No,
upsetting.
don't.
The geezer was like, "Oh my head, oh my head," because this is our moment. And I thought, and I was
Nice
like
one,
holding
mate.
his hand, and then he missed, and we both stared at it. He went, "Give me a hug." And I remember hugging him for about 2 minutes, and I was thinking to myself, "Oh no, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. This is really embarrassing." The
I
person
did.
I was
I'm not
with,
ashamed to say I did.
yeah, I was really
I
upset.
sobbed my eyes out.
Oh my god, I flew home with a. I think I've mentioned this before, but I flew home. I flew home with a guy, a Man United fan from Surrey, didn't I? Can you believe that? We got separated with the person I was with. He come down the aisle like this,
Yeah.
and I knew straight away. I was like, "You're United," and he was like, "How do you know?" He said, "Because of that on your face, mate." You know
Yeah,
what I mean? He
exactly.
sat there and he just in my ear. I just said to him, "Look, mate, latest." I didn't come out of the house for 3 months. Honestly, I swear to God. I honestly, I actually thought I didn't think I'd ever integrate back into society. I was getting quite concerned. I was going to do something really strange, like actually just take enough food and see if I could live a year in a loft, just like on my own. Because I couldn't. My mates were leaving me. I wish I had the technology and you could keep it, but my mates were phoning me going, "Redders, like, we know why you're not replying to us, but you need to
Well,
come out."
you had a phone in 2008. I can't remember what
Yeah,
life was
I
like.
think it would be on the bloody landline. I would have thought, mate. Just the
Pigeon, send a
yeah.
pigeon.
I think we had
I'm all right, boys.
we definitely had a phone in two. We definitely
Of
had a
course we
phone
did.
there. It's
Of course we did.
2008. Fucking hell! What world are you on?
I don't know.
Jesus
Just
Christ!
one.
I would have been I would have been probably playing snakes in the loft, not answer it. You know what I mean? On my Nokia 3310. So, but look, I think it's such a special competition. And the other thing, a quick mention for Chesterfield, like they got to a cup semi, didn't they?
We
We
should have
spoke
played
about
them. We should have played them.
Yeah, they
They were
Chesterfield got
robbed.
to, yeah, they did. Yeah,
It
my
was a
God.
refereeing decision, wasn't it?
I don't know. I haven't.
It was,
It was
it
totally
was,
like 3-3. 3-2. I mean, it sounds 3-3 was
I'm
a draw,
sure
but
it was. I think you're right. I think it was 3-3. It was at Old Trafford. Seem to remember that they scored or should have scored, and it went over the line. Wasn't I can't remember, but it was
yeah,
it was daylight robbery. We should have played them in the final.
yeah, because we were strange. It was a really unusual venue for a semi. We were we played Wimbledon at Highbury,
Oh, what a
and that's the day when Zola scored that back heel.
Yeah,
And when we come out, some of the people who listen to this will remember when we come out, the change rooms were on the ground floor at Highbury,
yeah.
and they had the windows open. There were those half windows. They opened quite out. And Mark Hughes, the big lad, had his top off, and it was where the change room. And he was like, "Whoa!" And they were throwing bottles of water out, and everyone
Oh,
was like,
love it, love it.
and it was absolutely mental. Dennis Wise was poking his head out, going, "Oh." Yeah. It was, my dad was like going completely mental,
And
and
what a day!
yeah,
Yeah, we were there that day. It was what a day! What a goal! Chris Perry, still turning, still
yeah,
turning.
yeah, that was such a nice little back. It was just like, yeah, see you later, mate. It was just such a nice finish. It was an amazing day, and that was an amazing day in the sunshine as well, to be fair. But like, I actually feel like Chesterfield, I've actually looked into this week on how they're feeling about the game, and it's so nice. If you ever need a dose of realism or
Yep.
romance around the FA Cup, just listen to their fans on Twitter or how they're thinking and how they're feeling about their big away day at Stamford Bridge. It's absolutely amazing. That's what the FA Cup is.
Do you know what? It's the way it should be. It's the way it should be. And we get a bad, I say we get a bad. Chelsea are not well liked, let's be honest.
No.
But there are some unbelievably amazing people, like on social media, on Twitter. You and I know many of them, and I know that they have been interacting this week with Chesterfield supporters, Chesterfield fans that are coming down for the game, and that is what it's all about for me.
Yeah.
For
No, it's
tomorrow.
fantastic. I know you mentioned about first time fans. I mentioned this as well. Like, it's just so brilliant to to be going with your family, to know that, I think the parents are somewhat. I always know this because my brother-in-law took his boy to the first time to football, and that's that horrible feeling when your boy's like, "Nah, I don't like it."
Yeah.
And he's like,
Yeah, isn't
"Oh
it?
no,
Isn't it?
gutted." And it's just like, "Oh yeah, no, I don't really feel. I think I just want to do contemporary urban dance instead at the weekends." You're like, "Oh no, you're not going to do that, please. You're killing me, mate. Had a season ticket all lined up for you." So yeah, let's hope that. I'm sure those parents are desperate for their
Of
children
course,
to
of
love it.
course. And it will be, and do you know what? It's what it's all. It's for me. It's what it's all about. I hope that I hope they have a brilliant day. I hope we win. I hope we win well. But there's part of me that hopes that it's a contest and that they enjoy it. And good luck to them. I hope they. I don't know any. I don't know them personally, but I've been speaking to a handful this week, and I hope they go up. They deserve it. They've been through. They've had some.
Yeah, they're a good side. They're also really depleted, so they've got massive problems at the back. I looked into. They've got like some real, their first teamers are out in their back, so they're going to struggle as well. So I think they'll
Well,
put
they're up
good
against.
account for themselves.
They're up against Romelu Lukaku. So
I don't know if will he play?
I think they hope so. If they watched him the other night,
Yeah, I think he should play. Actually, I personally, that'd be great for him to get some confidence. He might get the feel of the cheer, but I imagine he'll play against Tottenham, and it's the bigger game. Let's touch on
and
Tottenham.
score. He'll score. He will score at Tottenham.
So we touched on Tottenham then. Like, I mean, obviously, it's half time. It's obviously a commanding lead. I mean, what I saw of Tottenham was really poor. I personally do not see a way how Chelsea messed this up. I just cannot see that happening. But it is only half time, and we do need to manage the first 20, 25 minutes a little bit. We wouldn't want to concede, would we?
No, but
Because, games can change.
we'll be fine. Like for anybody that's even remotely slightly worried about Tottenham scoring the first goal and Tottenham getting back into it, it's Tottenham.
Yeah, I just think, I personally think that, I mean, obviously we're going, aren't we? Which is quite exciting.
Yep.
I'm quite looking forward to it. I think everyone in the world's going because it's such a big end, isn't it? 6,000 people can go, so that is quite an amazing allocation.
6,000 tickets. I'm sure I've seen about 160,000 Tottenham away ticks.
I think we've probably got more people going than the stadium can fill. So I don't know where they're going. So they're
I've
in
not met
random.
somebody yet that isn't going. But
they're probably in Rand, and they're probably in with the Henry Hoover in the cleaning cupboard, some of the Chelsea, and on the roof, because there is definitely more than the 6,000 going. Everyone's getting. It
100%.
doesn't even know how low your loyalty points are. You're in. I think it's like a mandatory. It's almost like you've got to have your COVID booster, and you've got to go to Tottenham away, or otherwise you're not certified. So it's a
mate, it'll be fun. It'll be a party. It'll be a party. They can't. Let's be honest. They can't be as not as bad as they were the other night, but ineffective. They did nothing. They did nothing, and they will have chances, but so will we. And
I don't even know who they. Not that I care about Tottenham. I wouldn't even want to look what they're doing, but obviously they'll have a game of FA Cup football this week. Have they got anyone big? Don't even know who they've got. So
Morecambe. They got Morecambe.
Oh, okay. So they're in the same boat as well. So they'll be resting a few as well. So it's not like they've got a big tie. Look, at the end of the day, second leg of the a chance to go to. I always remember. I love this tour. I love this competition because it was the one that it's got some sentimental things. I went with my dad, and my dad managed to hotbox the Millennium Stadium. They had the roof on that day, and he smoked so many rollies. I think he filled the whole thing with smoke, and like the steward was coming over and saying, "You can't smoke," and he must have just said to him about 3 times, he's just like, I just said to the mate, I don't think he's going to stop doing it. That's been attached to his mouth for 30 years. It's going to be on him. It's going to be there for another 90 minutes. But obviously, that amazing first trophy we won under Mourinho was this competition. So I think it's important to Chelsea. I think it's important for momentum. I think it could do us great for going on and winning that World Club Championship. I think it's important.
It's important. It's a final. It's a final up for grabs. It's a final and a final at Wembley, a day out with all your pals, your family, whoever it is that you go. You're a big advocate for everyone does Chelsea differently. It's a final against Arsenal or Liverpool, so it's not as if you've got a media. What, for us to play?
Yeah,
genuinely.
Who do you? Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, yeah,
I'd rather we play Liverpool.
Right. Okay, that's interesting.
How many? Arsenal are funny side for me. They've beaten us far too finals. They've beaten us far too many times for my liking, and with that in mind, I'd rather play Liverpool. We proved that they're on a big pitch. Their back four are there to be got at. Nice. And Arsenal are similar.
I think Arsenal might have Liverpool out though. I think they might have them out, but in the semi with the players off, I just think Liverpool might walk.
What's going to happen is the game is going to get postponed.
Oh yeah, until
Liverpool got a full strength side, so the final will probably be moved back to August,
just before the World Cup.
Yeah, anyone that Liverpool sign in the summer will be eligible.
Well, it's a fair play. Liverpool aren't going to play a game for another month, are they? Until Mo rolls back into the town and scores another wonder goals every week, which he's been doing. I mean, he's just a shoe-in for PFA Player of the Year, isn't he?
Yes, of course he is. He's the best. He's the best player in the country at the moment by a mile.
Yeah, but pretty close to the world, I would have thought. Well, that's difficult to say, but
he was, and I know he scored a fantastic goal. But whilst he was up against Rudiger, I wouldn't say I had him in his pocket, but I'd say Rudiger played him when he was marking him as well as I've seen anyone mark him in the country. So big mentions to Rudiger there. I think on a big pitch, I'm not against on a big pitch telling Rudiger just follow the guy around. As in, man, do you remember the old man mark someone jobs where you literally followed someone around the whole pitch? Can you imagine having to deal with Rudiger in your ear?
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. The other thing that's interesting, I know loads of people keep saying it, that they don't fancy Silva in a back four and his legs are gone and all the rest. I don't think his legs are any slower than Terry's anyway, so I don't know where everyone's getting it and everywhere. And Terry spent a lot of his career alongside Carvalho and Gallas for a lot of time at centre-back, and they both had legs on him. And Rudiger is a proper, rangy, powerful, quick, pacey guy. I just think
we got over 10 yards. The quickest player at the club over 10 yards.
Oh yeah. I actually just think, touching on that quickly. I mean, I did a video a while ago And one of the things was quite evident that obviously Christensen and Rudiger's stock has gone up, hence the reason why they're playing hardball. Because 18 months ago, if Chelsea would have thrown a contract in front of them when they were not in the team and in and out, they would have signed it.
Yep.
But players aren't stupid. Their stock goes up. They know their value. They're in with the manager. So they start turning down 180, 190, 200 grand a week because they think, well, do you know what? On a free transfer, someone might come in for me. But I really, really absolutely worry about changing the centre-back position if we can help it. And I would be by hook or by crook. I don't want to be held to ransom. But I think sometimes fans get too roped up in finances. They don't really know the finer points of the contract. I would be trying to pay Rudiger what he wants to keep him on boards just for the continuity of our football team, because swapping him in and changing him for another guy doesn't actually guarantee you anything.
No, we have. You'd like to think the club have done everything, like everything they can, because the guy deserves it. He deserves it. His performances in the last.
Was it Liverpool? I think I was going to say Liverpool. Well, it must have been Liverpool because Tottenham didn't get an hour off, did it? So it must have been Liverpool. They didn't have a kick. So he had 2 blocks. I think he had one block and 1 sliding challenge. Well, they were actually like massively vital to the. I mean, they were almost goals if they weren't happening. Like, and that isn't just once or twice. It's becoming almost like Ashley Cole regularity of doing it. You know what I mean? It's all the time. I just think he is. I like. Do you know another thing I like about it? He's got a bit of nasty. He's got a bit of fight. He hates the world. He's a pincher and a puller and pulling your hair and telling you your shit. He loves it, doesn't he? And I like that in him.
I love it in him. I don't just like it in him. I absolutely. And he's a fan favourite. He's got more than a pinch in him. I love him. I love him. Yeah. I think he's what.
And he is going to score a Bobby Charlton at home one day, isn't he? And I want to make sure he's. I'm telling you, he's going to come crashing through 3 challenges, and he's going to let one go, and it's going to be that photo that I buy signed with him airborne in the air, striking the old days like Bobby Charlton, like that up in the air, straight in the top bin. He's got it in the locker. I know a few of them are in West Brompton Cemetery, aren't they, at the moment? But he is gonna get a couple in that top bin for sure.
He will. He's class. We have to. Like I said, you'd like to think the club have done everything they can. And I'm still hopeful. Ever the optimist. I'm still hopeful that
they both sign for me.
There's going to come a day where we're sat there reading Rudiger signs new contract at Chelsea,
and I think Christensen's going to sign
with Christensen. I'm not so sure, and I'm not so sure. But
we're quite invested in him, though, aren't we? In terms of the amount of effort we put into him. I think obviously he's a youth. He's had out on loan. He's come back in. I'd like to see. I'd like to see them both sign. I think they get into our side. They provide a stability. The other thing why I quite like the idea of moving to a 4. I'm a little bit biased and a bit old school. I always like that 4-3-3 because I actually think Mason could be in the 3, and then I like him running from deep. I think he scores goals there, and I think you've got options then to do Kai, Timo, and Lukaku. And then you've got Mount coming in, and then you can almost get Jorginho if he really wants to sit in behind a kind of Kovacic, and much the same as Makelele, Essie, and Lampard played.
Yeah,
and I could see Mount doing that Lampard role, and that's why I like the idea of sometimes exploring the 4. And I think Christensen, when you play in a 4, you've got people don't ever talk about this. You're risking 1 less centre back. That means you need less on your book. There's less chances of them getting injured week in, week out. We're playing 3 every week. It's really tough going on them. And if they go, then you can't play the formations. And that's when you get people playing Reece James, right centre back, and Emerson when he had to play left centre back for us. It's not as easy to keep up. So I personally would quite like the idea of 4. I actually think Mason Mount's a great player. But I just think he's just getting stronger and better on the ball. I just think he's a midfielder for me. He just looks so good.
He is a midfielder. He's a midfielder. He's Mason Mount gets his knockers to knee from non-Chelsea supporters. Mason Mount is up there with the best I've ever seen in 30 years of watching football religiously at receiving a ball and turning 180 degrees and going the other way.
Yeah,
there are elements of Mason Mount's game which are already world class. That being one of them.
Yeah, well,
Fabregas
he receives the ball on the half turn, and
and
also
he
the other
turns.
thing is he's got very, very good. He's got very good touch, but his touch is quite good at changing direction, which is what
Yeah,
you're alluding to. He's actually quite
and
often takes it first time on the turn and touches
he's
him and
fantastic.
buys him like space. But the other thing I like about him, well, I love that energy in industry, and I just think in a midfield three, it could help at
Oh,
times a Jorginho who can get overrun in there a little bit. If you get at Jorginho, you can get at him. If someone wants to and they want to get at him and the press is right, then he can get flustered. There's no disrespect, it doesn't happen loads, but I'm just saying for all those people who think I don't hate Jorginho, and yes, I know he's Italian, I don't
hates
hate
him.
him
He
anymore.
hates
I
him.
love him, but I'm just saying I just like Mason in that three for me.
Yeah,
I
and he
know
will.
he doesn't play
I
there
think
very
he will.
often. I just think he's that guy.
Football evolves, doesn't it? Formations evolve, coaches evolve, football evolves. Mount Mason a free, it will work and it will happen. And I think
Yeah,
I think sooner rather than later as well. I think he'll drop deeper, but he's got it up there, Mace. He's got
yeah,
a Teddy Sheringham had that. Dimitar, oh, I'm listing far too many Tottenham. Dennis Bergkamp.
yeah.
Mason Mount's got a football brain, and he
Yeah,
can play anywhere.
Sheringham had that, but I mean, I'll tell you another one. I mean, Kai's got that, hasn't he?
Kai is up.
I
Kai
mean, the end of the day, and this is the thing, this
mustard.
is the brilliant thing about, and then I've said it a lot, and I've battered on about him being 6'2" and he's a centre forward, and all. The reality is, if Romelu Lukaku isn't playing well or doesn't play well, or for whatever reason upsets the apple cart, Kai Havertz is going to have your
Kai
place
will
because
have him out.
yeah, he
Kai
will
will
do.
have
And
him
I
out.
think there should be some healthy competition. I tell you what, he was miles better than him the other night. I'm not saying it's on one-off games, but it wasn't just his goal. His ability to come off the play and
Everything,
yeah, it's so good. I mean
everything.
that was a brilliant display earlier in the season in a shit performance at Watford. He was the shining
Oh,
light
he
in
was
terms of his hold
slaloming,
up play.
gliding
Yeah,
across the pitch.
he's going to get stronger and quicker. I actually think he way outlives. Lots of people saying that he might use this club as a benchmark or sort of to benchmark him for another move down the road. I actually think Kai
Yeah.
outlived
Oh,
Lukaku. Well, this is what people have said. Kai outlives Lukaku. I think he stays here for 5-10 years. You know, I think he could be that guy.
you can't use the best team in Europe, the champions of Europe, as a stepping stone. Anyone he ever goes to now is a downward spiral. Come on.
But also, I don't know if you're aware, because you do know a little bit about football by the sounds of it. I think Germany are all right at picking players, aren't they?
There you go.
I mean, they're not bad, and they touted him as the best youngster they had ever seen, or the best youngster they had seen in a crop. So he was that guy. So when Wayne Rooney was being touted at 10 years old, and Joe Cole was,
Yep.
Kai Havertz is that
Havertz was.
boy. So they
Exactly.
don't
And he's
make
our boy.
mistakes.
He's our
And
boy.
some people forget that. And at 22, just to say, when people were just completely losing their marbles, we were letting Lukaku go at 22 to try and find his way. Our boys already scoring the Champions League winning goal. So give him a break about his 6 in 41 goals. It's now 7 in 42. I don't give a shit about that.
I couldn't care less, mate. I couldn't care less. The one in Porto was worth 30, 40,
Well,
50,
and it was a big goal
300.
it was a big goal the other night, and it's been big performances. And also, if you want to be brutally honest with Chelsea, Leicester, Juve, other games as well, the best we've played all season has been with the movement, the fluidity of Kai up top. That's not being funny about Lukaku. I like him as a player. He's a man mountain. He should be an animal. He should be getting 20 goals. But the side, they've
Yeah.
benefited from using Kai's
Oh, they
abilities.
did. They did. He's silky and he's German.
And
Redders,
he looks good, doesn't he? So
I'm going to have to.
yeah, we're gonna have
I'm
to
going to
go,
have to
mate.
eat some food. So I left the house this morning 14 and a half hours ago, and I've not
Yeah.
eaten.
Thank you
How are we going
very
to get
much.
on? How are we going to get on tomorrow?
What's that? Tomorrow, I think we'll win 4-0.
4-0.
Yeah, I think we'll overrun them. I think they'll huff and puff, but I think
Oof.
Chelsea will win 4-0.
I'm going to go.
Maybe 3, but I'll go 4.
I see. I don't think that will. I think it will be closer than that. 6-1. 6-1. I think they'll score. And do you know what? Look, part of me hopes they do.
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm happy.
6-1.
Look, do you know what? Let's let them score an overhead kick. 4-1. I'm going. Yeah.
6 1. Right. So that's Tottenham dealt with. What about Chesterfield?
Chesterfield will be a tougher game. They'll really
Yeah,
bring it. Probably 1-1, and we'll have to take them back to their
go
place.
back to their place. That'd be
Yeah,
a good
exactly.
away.
Mind
Be
you,
a
I
good
tell you
away.
what, it's a shame it wasn't at their place for a first leg. That would have been cracking fun.
Oh, what an away that would have been.
God, well, that would have been off the planet. That would have been, I don't even know how big their capacity is, but it would have been just a worldie, wouldn't it? There's not a seat in sight, I imagine.
No, no.
Those days. Mind you, I bet their hot dogs are better than Watford. So look, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure catching up with you.
Loved it.
Go and get yourself some dinner, and
Yep.
we will reconvene next week to do the 25-year history of
The
Chelsea, which we've
Victorian
done.
chugging bottoms.
We don't know what we're going to talk about next because we've literally covered every topic. We might have to talk about bad signings. That'll keep us going.
Yeah,
So
there's been a few. There's been a
yeah,
few.
up the Belarus. So right, all the best to you, pal. See you
See
later.
you, mate.
Cheers.
Take
Bye.
out the Chelsea.